You know, at Max International, we're now working with hundreds of doctors all over America, and it's so exciting to go out in the field and meet so many of them. But at our convention, we had a chance to interview 3 of them. And so now let's look at the very first one we're going to share with you. A wonderful doctor and a wonderful human being. One of our Max associates, Dr. Dale Bradley. I met a doctor in Dallas one time at one of our meetings. Little did I know, he actually came up to the podium and spoke, and he blew me away with his knowledge of glutathione, and he practices internal medicine in Dallas. Former major in the Air Force, where he was a doctor in the Air Force. Dale, what a delight to have you here.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Let me ask you, how do you know about glutathione?
I took it upon myself to find out more and more about nutrition and what it can do for the body. And so in my efforts, in my quest to find out about how to make the body function at a very high and optimum level, I found that glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant and micronutrient that supplies the body with what it needs to be healthy. A few months prior to my introduction to MaxGXL, I was trying to take upon my own shoulders the responsibility to take different subcomponents of elements that make glutathione in my body, alpha-lipoic acid, glutamine, and cysteine, and these kinds of things, and just kind of, in a hodgepodge sort of way, try to create a way to increase my own glutathione. But the frustration was that I wasn't noticing a clinical response in myself. And one day, my office manager walked in, Jerry Lindsay, and he walked in and he said, "Dr. Bradley, do you know what glutathione is?" Do I know what it is? I thought. I mean, let me give you a lecture about glutathione. It's been my one source, my elusive golden carrot that I've never been able to touch or reach or take part of and to take to my patients or my family or myself. And he said, well, this is different. This actually gives you the building blocks of glutathione, and it was actually invented by a world-class scientist, immunologist, Dr. Robert Keller. And of course, that got my attention. I still had some doubts. I think we're cynical by nature and we're somewhat doubtful by nature, but as a doctor, I wanted proof. Well, so I started researching Dr. Keller, his work, and also the company Max International. And in doing so, I had enough, at least baseline trust in what he was telling me to go ahead and try it. I had to bridge that gap of wondering if it was going to make a difference by just taking a step out and doing that. And I'm somewhat skeptical about a lot of things that I've seen out there. I've had patients and colleagues and other people produce or present things to me, and frankly, I haven't seen any robust or any substantial changes come from that. So I was skeptical, but I did not see any long-term harm or any short-term harm for that matter. So I did. He gave me at least a month of samples and he said, here's some for your wife as well. Give some to her. What he did not realize is the fact that my wife was exhausted, wiped out, just basically despondent to the point where she couldn't take care of her basic needs of the family. We have 5 children. She was, of course, in a situation where she was sleeping until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, just exhausted. And we've tried many things to help her get better, and not one thing has created a substantial effect until she tried MaxGXL. And within 1 week, she woke up on a Saturday morning at 7:30. I reached over wondering where she was. She was gone. Wow. She was up doing the things that she had always done, a very productive lady, and I have her back in my life again. So to me, this means a lot. For me personally, I'm under a lot of stress as a doctor, mentally, physically. It requires a lot of endurance, and I was tired. I had to face the same stress every day. It was unrelenting. It never ended, and every day it looked like the last day. And I needed more energy. I was getting really tired, very frustrated, not in what I did, but the energy that it required to get the job done. This made a huge impact, and we're talking 5 and 6 days.
Wow.
And I just didn't believe it until I started feeling the results. Wow. It was really spectacular.
Wow. Now what happened first? Did your results start first or your wife's results first?
Hers did, actually.
So what did you think when that happened? I mean, was it like, oh, just a fluke, or what?
Well, you hear about placebo effect and mind over matter, just the power of suggestion. And I started wondering, well, is it just the fact that we were desperate for help, for improvement in our lives, and our vitality and our vigor? And so, of course, I thought about that. So I went to other family members. Of course, that's a safe audience to give out this product to and find out what it's going to do. They have their own problems. Within a week or 2 or 3, again, the same feedback. Emails, testimonials from family, thinking, saying that, Dale, this is incredible. What is this stuff? What is this? Steroids? What is this? It's amazing. So I bridged that gap of disbelief in my own life, my wife's life, and my family's life. Well, it's a bigger responsibility when you bring in patients into something like this. So I treaded very carefully, and I did not make any promises. I was cautious in my statements, but I was also hopeful. Within a week, I was getting emails, phone calls. People were so impressed, they would walk in some in tears, some smiling ear to ear, telling me, Dr.
Wow.
Bradley, thank you so much for what you've done.
Wow.
This is an amazing product. It's been very impressive and taken me by storm. I mean, I've been blown away. Sometimes I don't know what to say about it. It's so impressive.
All we do is we get the critical nutrients that the cell needs into the cell so the cell can manufacture its own glutathione. And when glutathione levels go up in a cell at a cellular level, then we know that the cell is better equipped to do what it needs to do. Until I talked to Dr. Nagasawa, I did not realize that glutathione also is involved in the transfer and the synthesis of other antioxidants and proteins. So not only is glutathione this incredibly powerful and wonderful antioxidant in itself, but it makes it possible for our cells to utilize those good things, the antioxidants and the proteins that we ingest.
Absolutely, that's a great point. But like you said, it actually re-engages vitamin C, vitamin E, gives them those spare electrons, those free electrons that want to neutralize free radicals over and over again, almost like arming a soldier again. When he runs out of bullets or ammunition, rearm that soldier to go out and fight the battle again and again and again. So the synergy is what I find to be fascinating in this.
Great picture.
You know, I talk about nutrition to my patients, whether it be because of a disease process they're experiencing or just a health and wellness visit. Well, part of that is discussing vitamins, nutrients, antioxidants, not as a promise, but just basically as something to augment what they do as far as eating right, exercising, getting enough sleep. Because the science is there, just like with vitamin D, calcium, the things we recommend every single day. You know, doctors, including myself, recommend these products, but no particular kind. We just say, you need to take a product that has this and this in it.
Right.
So with that kind of knowledge that we recommend vitamins daily in our practice, you can extrapolate that to MaxGXL. We know glutathione is critical for everyday life and existence. So, you know, we have to know, well, which one do we recommend? What do we say? I personally feel with the data that I can comfortably say, well, this is what's going to be your best option for getting glutathione into your cells, manufacturing that, and finding that homeostasis. But I cannot say it will cure or treat or prevent anything.
Right.
I can just say I recommend it because of my knowledge base of glutathione and what it does for the body.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much, Del, for
Thank
this
you.
time. I really appreciate it, and boy, we're so glad to have you
Thank
on
you.
our team.
It's been a pleasure, Steve.
Thanks.
Thank you.